Before we begin, viewer discretion is strongly advised. The following is for educational and entertainment purposes only. This is the verbatim federal courtroom testimony of the Sean Diddy Combs trial as reported by Inner City Press. What started as a routine social media post became the crack in the dam. A single tweet buried in a thread of thousands triggered a chain reaction no one was ready for. It didn't surface through leaks or raids. It was retweeted by mistake. By the time the courtroom saw it, it was already too late. Taylor Swift's Eras Tour, once the biggest musical spectacle in the world, was now linked to something far more sinister. Behind the glittering concerts and viral TikToks was a system no one saw coming. One that prosecutors now claim used the Eras Tour not as a stage but as a trap. The gallery leaned in, the judge leaned forward, and a name that was never supposed to appear in this case was suddenly glowing on the courtroom screen. The courtroom wasn't prepared for it. No one was. It wasn't a confession, it wasn't an audio recording, and it wasn't even classified. It was something far more dangerous. A tweet thread. A seemingly innocuous social media interaction during Taylor Swift's Eras Tour titled VIP Experience Nashville plus Tampa. At first glance it looked routine, fan excitement, meet and greet photos, concert highlights. But then, buried 12 tweets deep, a single red-flagged reply changed everything. The prosecution's lead attorney stood up, her voice steady but tinged with disbelief. "Your Honor, what you're seeing is not just a fan interaction. It's a coded message, part of an elaborate system used to exploit vulnerable individuals under the guise of concert VIP experiences." The courtroom fell silent, the weight of the accusation hanging heavy in the air. As the tweet thread was dissected on the large screen, patterns began to emerge. Certain phrases, seemingly innocent to the untrained eye, took on sinister meanings. Backstage pass wasn't just about meeting the star. It was allegedly a euphemism for something much darker. After-party location wasn't about exclusive celebrations, but reportedly about secret meetings in hidden locations. The defense team scrambled, objecting vehemently. "Your Honor, this is pure speculation. These are nothing more than excited fans sharing their concert experiences." But as more tweets were brought to light, a disturbing picture began to form. The prosecution argued that Sean Diddy Combs had used his connections in the music industry to infiltrate major tours, including Taylor Swift's record-breaking Eras Tour, to carry out illicit activities. Witnesses were called, each adding another piece to the puzzle. A former security guard, his voice shaking, recounted strange occurrences backstage. "I saw things that didn't make sense. People who weren't on any list suddenly appearing in restricted areas. VIPs who seemed scared, not excited." His testimony sent shockwaves through the courtroom. As the trial progressed, more evidence surfaced. Financial records showed unexplained transfers, coinciding with tour dates. Surveillance footage revealed shadowy figures moving through service corridors of stadiums. But it was the social media trail that proved most damning. Cryptic posts, when decoded, revealed a complex network operating just beneath the surface of the glittering pop spectacle. Taylor Swift herself was called to testify. The pop icon, visibly shaken, stated she had no knowledge of any illicit activities connected to her tour. "I'm horrified and heartbroken that my shows, meant to be a celebration of music and connection, could have been used for something so terrible," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. The prosecution painted a picture of a vast operation, with Diddy at its center, using the chaos and excitement of major tours as cover. They alleged that while millions of fans were singing along to "Shake It Off," a sinister undercurrent was at work, exploiting the very infrastructure meant to bring joy and music to the masses. As the trial wore on, more celebrities were implicated, some as unwitting participants, others as potential co-conspirators. The music industry watched in horror as its darkest secrets were laid bare in federal court. What had started as an investigation into one man's alleged crimes had ballooned into an indictment of an entire system. Social media exploded with theories and accusations. Fans combed through years of posts, looking for clues they might have missed. Concert footage was analyzed frame by frame. What once seemed like innocent backstage glimpses now took on ominous undertones. The defense fought back hard, arguing that the prosecution was weaving conspiracy theories out of nothing more than standard tour logistics and fan interactions. They brought in experts to testify about the complexities of managing large-scale tours, arguing that what looked suspicious was simply the reality of modern concert production. But the prosecution had an ace up its sleeve. A former associate of Diddy, granted immunity for their testimony, took the stand. In chilling detail, they described how the operation worked, how social media was used to identify potential targets, how VIP experiences were manipulated, how the frenzy of a concert provided the perfect cover for nefarious activities. As the testimony unfolded, the courtroom was a mix of disbelief and horror. Jurors scribbled notes furiously, reporters typed at a frantic pace, knowing they were witnessing one of the biggest scandals in entertainment history. The implications were staggering. If the allegations were true, it meant that some of the biggest names in music had unknowingly provided cover for criminal activities on a massive scale. The very events that brought joy to millions had a dark underbelly that was only now coming to light. As the trial neared its conclusion, the question on everyone's mind was, how deep did this go? How many other tours, other artists, other industries might be implicated? The case against Diddy was just the tip of the iceberg, a crack in a facade that had stood for decades. The final days of the trial saw impassioned closing arguments from both sides. The prosecution painted a picture of greed, exploitation, and betrayal on an unimaginable scale. The defense maintained their client's innocence, arguing that he was being made a scapegoat for industry-wide issues. As the jury retired to deliberate, the world held its breath. The verdict would have ramifications far beyond one man's guilt or innocence. It would shake the foundations of the entertainment industry and force a reckoning long overdue. In the end, it all came back to that single tweet, a moment of carelessness that brought down an empire. As the judge gavelled the court into session for the verdict, one thing was clear: the music would never sound the same again. The case of Sean Diddy Combs had exposed a dark undercurrent flowing beneath the glittering surface of fame. It raised uncomfortable questions about the price of entertainment and the responsibility of those in power. As the world waited for justice, one thing was certain: the show would go on, but the audience would be watching with new, more wary eyes.